Good morning. It is Wednesday, and this is Coffee Chats with Coach Candy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is so wonderful to see all of you here this morning. I'm glad to have you join us. This week, we've been digging into some big things. Good morning, Deborah. Welcome. Today is Wednesday Wonder. Good morning, Terry. I love everybody jumping on this morning. Let's get this show on the road, right? So we've had a big week already. Monday we talked about mindset. So Monday is all about our mindset and setting that space of really big intention. I am here every morning, so we are having different conversations every day. This Monday we actually talked about changing the frame from moving away from and trying to push away from things to actually moving towards something and allowing ourselves to feel much lighter. Good morning, Terry. So Monday was all about shifting that frame from pushing away from something and really allowing ourselves to propel towards something. Good morning, Sarah. Yesterday, we got back into the back end of the bookends. Last week, we talked about your morning and why it's so critical, why your morning is absolutely the most important aspect of your day. And then we talked about the second most critical aspect of your day, which is your evening routine. And so we got into that yesterday and really talked about how to create some new discipline and showing up more intentionally, making sure that you're putting things in place. Good morning, Martha. Putting things in place to allow yourself to really excel at the highest and best level. So today, which is Wednesday, we're going to get into that wonder space and we're going to play with the possibilities and we're going to start to dance in that imagine if so that we can expand more aspects of our imagination. We can get the creative juices flowing and we can just have some fun. We're so serious all the time. And so I want us to lighten things up and have a little fun. Tomorrow, I will be throwing down another challenge because Thursday is all a throwdown space. And oh, I love that. You just walked around the block. And Sarah, yes, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And then Friday, I will be featuring another great resource for all of you. And it's something we're going to dig into over the next couple, weeks in various capacities, because it is going to take those bookends to a whole nother level. And it's going to help you structure things for your day to reclaim space for yourself and really allow yourself to tap into your best energy, your highest and best space. Good morning, Kay. Welcome. So excited to see all you ladies here. This is fantastic. So today, as we get into Wednesday Wonder, I want to have some conversation around imagine if. And so there's a big imagine if that's sort of dancing in that space for me. And before I even talk about what we're going to focus on, I want to read you another excerpt from the Book of Awakening. I know I've shared this before. Incredible resource. There is a passage every day to help you get connected. And I love that there's something for 365 days of the year. The other thing is, I will tell you that it always seems to be exactly the message that you need to hear each morning. And so what I want to do is I want to share today's excerpt because I think it's powerful for us to get into the wonder space of where I want you to think a little bit more expansively and I want you to play Imagine If. So for today, today's April 3rd. I was going to say, let me make sure I picked the right day. April 3rd. Good morning, Elizabeth. Oh, welcome. Oh, great to see you. So today's passage to get us started on the Wednesday Wonder and to really dance in that space of imagine if is called Talking Fast. So this one I really can relate to. By the way, for those of you, and I have a fellow colleague of mine who is an amazing speaker. He's an ex-NFL player. I've met him through some of my spaces in Brendan Burchard. His name is Anthony Trucks. And first of all, he's just one of the most gorgeous human beings on the planet, just truly. And I love that he gets on stage and he'll say, for all of you that think I talk really fast, it's not that I talk really fast. Y'all just need to listen faster. So I have embodied that and embraced that because I know for some of you, that is a comment I get a lot that, I talk a little fast. So anyway, that is the theme for this morning and it's called Talking Fast. Live loud enough in your heart and there's no need to speak. I want you to think about that for a minute. Live loud enough in your heart, and there is no need to speak. There was a time in my life during my years in college when I was so talkative that the waterfall of words kept others at a safe distance. Of course, in time, this cascade pushed others away. But what I didn't realize till much later was that I kept talking faster and louder to the world around me because I couldn't hear the world within me. Of course, the more noise I made, the less chance I had of having what was real enter me and rise from within me. It became a damning cycle. So often we mistake the need to hear with the need to be heard. And all that talk was our way of reaching out to others with my heart. Ultimately, it was all based on the fear that if I didn't throw my heart out there, through the endless words and gestures and questions, I would be left alone. It's taken me many years to learn that the world comes flooding in if I can only keep myself open. It remains important to reach out and to express oneself, but underneath that is the need to be porous and real. Through the open heart, the world comes rushing in. The way oceans fill the smallest hole along the shore. It is the quietest sort of miracle. By simply being who we are, the world will come to us, to cleanse us, to baptize us again and again. And so here's the invitation for today. Center yourself by breathing steadily. Bring into view one thing you are reaching for. As you exhale, reach without moving and let it open up your body. Bring into view one thing you are needing to express as you inhale without speaking and let it open up your heart. And so I say that, good morning, Lisa. Welcome, welcome. I love this. I share that passage this morning because that's the imagine if I want you to dance in today. I want you to imagine a space where you can be still. And we talked about Monday, moving frames, changing the frame from pushing and pulling and trying to move against things and creating that unnecessary resistance where we're trying to muscle our way through life. It's that pushing away when we have the opportunity to propel ourselves by moving forward. And so I want you to think about the more open you allow your heart to be, the more centered you allow yourself to be, the more you can actually receive and gain access to that which is already coming to you. And so I want you to think about, and I want to have some conversation this morning around imagine if. Imagine if you allowed yourself to play full out in a space of wide open, vulnerable authenticity. Ooh, that sounds a little scary, doesn't it? Wide open space where it's not your words. It's not the endless need to have people hear you. It's the ability to open your heart and attract to you those things that are meant for you. And so I want you to think, good morning, Paul, welcome. So I want you to think about that imaginative space. I want you to think about what that would feel like if you allowed yourself to be wide open and allowed yourself more space to be still. So what does that mean to be still? It doesn't mean just putting yourself in a deep, dark space where you've shut the whole world out. It doesn't mean that you've got to be in constant meditation and you're just constantly in this space where you're like, what are my inner thoughts? It's a space where you start to quiet down your being in different areas so that you really can listen to what's going on inside of you. And so I want you to think about that. Good morning, Jody. I want you to think about that imagine if. So let's play with that a little bit. And by the way, the imagine if is all about playing. It's a very light space. It's a space to dance. It's a space to open up. It's a space that should feel fun and light and playful and warm and inviting. It shouldn't feel like something that you have to force. Now, it's not that it may not require some practice or some discipline in that space, but I'm curious. I would love to hear as you start to think about what that might mean to open yourself up, to imagine the possibilities of being so wide open that people see before they hear your words. What might that do for you? How might that show up? How might that feel if you were to allow yourself to step into that space? And so as I take a sip of coffee, I'm going to let you think about that for a minute because I know sometimes we have a little delay and I want to give you an opportunity to kind of marinate on that for a minute. By the way, cheers. It's coffee time. And so I want you to think about that. Imagine being so open. What shows up? I don't care right now, even if there's some fears showing up. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what might show up good morning, as you think about that. Imagine if space of allowing yourself to be that wide open. What might happen in that space? How might that affect how you go about your day, how you serve other people, how you're showing up? What might that look like for you? And how might you entertain that? How might you actually go about doing things deliberately to allow yourself to be still and to allow yourself to play in that space? And I'll give you some examples as you're thinking about this. For example, it might be, and I know that Martha, when you jumped on, you talked about going and taking a walk this morning. Great opportunity to get still. Great opportunity to go within and to really hear that whisper of who you are and how you want to show up and what that really means for you. So perhaps it's taking a walk in nature. Perhaps it's sitting in silence and just allowing yourself to be still. Maybe it's dancing. Think about that for a minute. Maybe it's allowing yourself to get connected into your body and playing some great music that's uplifting, that could really fire you up. And maybe it's allowing your body to dance, to feel, not caring what it looks like, sing at the top of your lungs, something along those lines. It could open up more opportunities. I love that, Terry. Think about that. Imagine opening up more possibilities. Imagine who you might be able to connect to. Or here's a few things that maybe you didn't think about could be a way to tap into that quiet space, that space that's your heart wide open, and maybe it's in the space of play. Think about that for a minute, the power of play. Perhaps it's coloring in a coloring book, or maybe it's swinging on a swing set, or it's putting a puzzle together, or it's something that allows you to tap into that inner child. Terry, let's see, when I'm wide open, connections are made in my mind and in my life. Wow, isn't that powerful? Think about how delicious that sounds. That connections are made in my mind and in my life and in your heart and in your soul. Think about that. Don't you want that feeling more often? It requires, though, that we get intentional about opening up space every day to do that. And so one of the things I want you to think about is your schedule right now. I want you to think about whatever your day looks like. And we've talked about the bookends, and we're going to get into really breaking down your day and creating even more discipline so that you can play at your highest and best capacity. We're going to talk Monday about the difference between the selfish space and the self-full, and mindful, and what does that mean? So we're going to get into a space around really making yourself a priority and connecting to that. And I'm curious, for some of you that have been on the last couple days, how many of you did today, which was the mirror exercise? How many of you took time to do that, to really connect with yourself in the morning and really connect with yourself at night in the mirror, to tell yourself how awesome you were, to break down how you got to show up, and to offer yourself some grace, to say you did the best you could with what you had? And so let me see what some of you are chiming in. Kay, I know I've enjoyed that quiet. I've been happier. I felt more peaceful every day. And I know, in knowing you, that is something that has been beautiful to witness, is watching you be able to get still in that space. It's amazing when you know people, and you know, and Kay's a lot like me, very energetic and got a lot of energy. And it's been so amazing to watch people that have that really big energy come into a space to get still. There's this magnificent beauty that happens when really big energy can still be really powerful energy, but in a really serene and peaceful and graceful space. And so I absolutely love that, Kay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Jody, I know that for me, when I slow down and be still, I feel more connected. The mind chatter, yes, the monkey mind slows down and inspiration and clarity comes in. Powerful, right? Powerful. Think about that. Your monkey mind's going crazy. And when all you're doing is talking, and all you're doing is the gestures and the expressions and the energy and the keeping up with it, your monkey mind wins. And so you have the power to rein that monkey back in and tell it, you know what? I'm the conductor of this train right now. I got this. And I need you to stop being so crazy. And a big way to do that is to slow yourself down and to quiet yourself down. And sometimes it's the act of play, because our inner child knows how to get into that space. And it's why we had imaginary friends. That was our stillness. And it was interesting. Yesterday, I did playing brings back life. Yes. Oh my God, playing. So I'm going to have to steal that from you, Kay. I'll borrow that, shamelessly borrow, shamelessly steal. Either way, however you want to look at it, I may have to use that, leverage that. I love that. Playing brings back life. Because think about it. And I did a podcast yesterday that'll be coming out in a couple weeks, and we were talking especially around this topic, around how when we had imaginary friends, because it was the opportunity of feeling that mindfulness, being able to connect to yourself. And as children, we knew that. That's part of why we had imaginary friends. It was our way to really connect to things bigger than us around us and work through things so that we could make choices and decisions. The problem or the issue is that most adults have forgotten that space. And so they figuratively or literally try to beat that or push that out of kids because they think that's a crazy space, when actually that's genius. It's genius that we had imaginary friends. It's genius that we were able to go in and have those conversations with ourselves to work out problems and find solutions and tap into things that really made us alive and vibrant and excited about how we got to show up in the day. And it's so interesting that if you watch kids, and let's see, Truth, love that. Elaine, such a beautiful time of the year, allows you to stop and appreciate the wonders of the season and those around you. Absolutely. And the thing is we have that opportunity every day, because seasons change, people change, things are happening. There's always beauty to be found in every moment. And when we breathe that in, take that deep breath. By the way, that is a really powerful way. And so I invite you, for some of you that do find that you have that energy going like crazy, you've got monkey mind going on and on and on and on, is that one of the really simple, easy ways that you can ground yourself and get more mindful to shift that energy is to simply take your middle finger and your thumb, both hands. By the way, this is why yogis do this, whatever. This is a grounding point in your body. So if you feel you've got the really anxious energy, if you really feel like you can't get centered into who you are, simply doing this move where it's your middle finger and thumb, and it doesn't matter how you have it. You can have it like this, it doesn't matter. They do this, but it's just because it's a receiving sign to the universe. But you could actually be in a space to do this. It instantly grounds you. It slows things down for you. It helps move that energy into the earth. And then what you can do is take 3 deep belly breaths. And I say belly breaths because your belly should move when you breathe. This is from your diaphragm. And so when you breathe in, and you want to breathe in air and oxygen so that it fills every cell of your body. You want to actually feel the energy of the air you're breathing in and feel it fill every cell. So you want to breathe in what's clean and abundant and quiet and peaceful and let it fill your body. And then what you want to do is push out, release out. You might even think about breathing through a straw so that you can slow yourself down, because a lot of times what we do is we take that breath and then we blow it right out, right? So instead, act as if you're breathing through a straw and just, or like a leaky tire, and let out everything that feels heavy, everything that feels like it's weighing you down, everything that might be getting in the way of you getting really centered with yourself. It's amazing if you take time to do that. Very simple practice, and I'm going to share with you some other breathing techniques and other things as we go along. But I want you to realize that you have instantly an ability to ground yourself and go quiet. So say, for example, someone's triggering you, and there's a conversation that you want to like punch back. Before you speak, I've done this before where I'll put my hands under the table so no one knows it, and I will just and calm myself down so that I can be fully present and show up with that person. And so that's a technique that you can use. So imagine if you created more space for that in your day to actually breathe. Because most of the time what we're doing is a shallow breathing. where we're holding our breath. And that's part of what gets us really wound up, where we feel like we need to compensate with what we say and what we do and our energy and whatever, because we're starting to wear ourselves down. So that's one aspect. And then I want you to think about that space of play. Hello, Renee, welcome. So I want you to think about how you can imagine if you were to purposely put a space into play to connect into that inner child. And so it's interesting because I get CEOs and executives a lot of times that'll say, Candy, I don't have time to play in my day. I'm like, okay, so let's talk about this, because I'm always a person that when someone tells me they can't do something, I want to talk about the opportunity cost in that space. And I usually will challenge, and I love Tony Robbins says, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself every day, then you absolutely need an hour in your day. So here's the thing, if you can't find 10 minutes for yourself, then you need to find an hour for yourself, because it's that simple that if you can't find space to purposely allow yourself that place to connect, that place. And again, we talked about that in our bookends, right? That morning intention around really being able to spend that 15, 20 minutes or more. I do about 30, where you're deeply connecting to yourself before you start your day. And then that space again on the end of the day. In addition to that, good morning, Shirley. In addition to that, oh, thanks, Renee. I love seeing you on here. In addition to that, I want you to realize that we need to carve out space throughout the day. And so I'm going to challenge you that you have 10 minutes a day. I'm going to challenge you, you can break it up into three or 4 minute sections, and something that can help you deeply connect back into your heart, to who you are. And again, I said that you can play, you can dance, do something. Find your favorite piece of music. We all have those songs. Find a playlist. And I had a COO that once we were, or COO that I was challenging this to, and she said, okay, I don't have the time. I said, great, are you a fan of, because this is my go-to when I really need to pick me up, or to quiet down and let myself just get into a groove to be my inner child and play and be silly and not care. I love Disney and Muppet movies. And for those of you that know me, know I'm obsessed with Disney and Muppet movies, and I love everything about them. So I asked her, I said, do you have a favorite Disney movie or Muppet song or whatever? And the next thing I know, I was cracking up because I could hear her on the phone. And I'm like, are you jamming out to Phenomena right now? And she's like, oh my God, this is so much fun. She is a chief operating officer for a large manufacturing company, and she's jamming out in her office to Phenomena. And for those of you that don't know that song, Phenomena, you know, that song from the Muppets. And all I'm saying is 3 to 5 minutes in that space can shift everything. Everything. And to the point where I like to, oh, hey, Teppy, well, welcome. Oh, my God, I love seeing some of these new faces on here. If there isn't play, let's see, what are people saying? Terry, ooh, that really does ground and center me. Love that. Terry, if there isn't play, it isn't worth doing. Amen to that. Man, we need more play in our life. We are so serious. And good morning. Oh, I miss you too, beautiful. I love that. God, I love everybody jumping on this morning. So I want you to think about that, 3 to 5 minutes, right? And so I have a friend of mine, a champion at GE. I do a lot of work with GE, for those of you that know. And my big champion in there, we always talk about windows up songs and windows down songs. And so what do I mean when I say that? Windows up songs are those songs that you usually are kind of mortified if someone hears you. So windows up song might be if you're a closet Bieber fan, or maybe you like to listen to Britney Spears, or you like hardcore rap, and you know, because I used to do that when I drove into Northwestern Mutual. I would play some gangster rap sometimes, and I would be pulling up into the parking lot and be like, ooh, I might want to turn that down a little bit. That's what's called windows up songs, because that's the stuff you're like, ooh, did anyone hear me listening to that? Some of my Disney and Muppet songs are what I would classify as windows up songs. Well, I have actually challenged myself that I no longer have windows up songs. I believe that I am gifting people, especially when I'm at a stoplight. So think about this. You want to talk about some play and really being able to ground myself. I'll be sitting in a stoplight and I can feel the energy. I'm a deep empath, but I can feel the energy of cars around me, and I can feel like where it's heavy and when people are like having a day and they're just all serious in their car. So I will roll my window down and I will bust something out like the bare necessities from Jungle Book. You know, it's the bare necessities kind of thing, right? It's amazing because I will get people that'll whip their head. I mean, I have it full blast. And I'll get people that'll whip their head and look at me like I am batshit crazy, which, fair enough, I'm okay with. In fact, that's what I want on my eulogy for another day. But I want you to realize they'll look at me like I am batshit crazy. And what's funny is within, I don't know, 10 seconds after they gave me that look, I will, out of the side of my eye, my peripheral, I will see them like jamming out, because there are just certain songs. We talked about that yesterday. There's songs that can really calm you down. So when you're really anxious and you need to go and quiet yourself down, there's songs that are at like that 200 beats per minute. I think someone talked about Viking drumming. I do piano music. There's music that can really settle your energy. And there's music that can allow you to be more expansive and wide open. Simply because it puts joy and play into your space and into your heart. And so it's crazy, but I laugh. Good morning, Mario. I think it's hilarious how people will look at me like I am batshit crazy, and then they will flip, and the next thing you know, and when they drive away, I scream and I'm like, you're welcome, because I know for that instant that they shifted and were able to play and were able to be in a space to really connect to themselves, even if it was just for a couple seconds. Because music is really powerful in that space. Music, nature, really playing. And I don't mean playing because you have to play with your kids, but creating space so that you can play. I love to color. Color is one of my favorite kind of connection spaces. Maybe it's reading. What I want you to do is I want you to explore. Don't hate me because I'm a beaverful. I love that, Jody. Okay, you just made my day that you just admitted that. There are songs. I was just talking to a friend of mine this weekend. As some of you know, I was at the Cubs game. And we were joking because the most embarrassing, I'm not even kidding, most embarrassing concert I have ever gone to in my life. And the reason we do this, I would actually cry because I think it's so funny. We were in a bar having dinner, and they were playing like 80s throwbacks that were like crazy, and Vanilla Ice came on. Yes, I have to admit, I went to a Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, and En Vogue concert when I was 15 years old. Have to say that, yeah, that's one of those spaces that's kind of like being a Bieberful, right? That you don't necessarily want everybody to know, but now I look at it, I'm like, one of the best moments of my life. We had so much fun, and it was the most ridiculous concert, and it was awesome. And yes, I went and actually paid money to see Vanilla Ice live. How funny and sad is that? Anyway, Kay, I love to listen to Kirk Franklin. I am not so conflicted about this. People wonder about me, makes me joyous. Yeah, actually, that actually makes me happy and brings joy is when I can perplex people. When they just look at me like I don't get it. And that just makes me happy because I'm like, you don't have to get it. It's my space, right? Good morning. And so what I want you to do, I want you to imagine today creating space for yourself, intentional, deliberate, purposeful space to allow yourself to center and ground into who you are. And that could be a combination of things. And I actually want you to imagine creating the combination. I want you to think about where you can get that really deep, quiet space for yourself, and not just in your bookends. While that's a great space, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces and things that are going on through the day. I want you to think about where in your day you can create space to breathe. Use that breathing technique. It's amazing how just a few seconds of deep breath work can really still and quiet you down. And then I want you to think about how to connect into yourself. I say, sweetie. That makes me laugh. And I want you to think about imagining where you can fill your soul with some laughter, with some joy, with some play. And that literally just made my day. It made my day that she just wrote Ice Ice Baby. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I shared that with you guys. Oh, I'm crying. But fills my morning, fills my day, right? And so one of the things that you might do, and I've done this just to keep myself accountable in this space and to make sure that I am not losing sight of how to connect to myself, is I actually on my phone, and I'll show you as a tool that you can do, is just on my clock, my alarm. I go in and I set up, and you can see all the different alarms I have. I set up different alarms for different times of the day that then have sayings or have a song attached or have something, so that when the alarm goes off in that moment, I just get to connect. I get to ask myself, and we're gonna work on our 3 words, and we're gonna work on a bunch of things that are gonna help you get in that space. This is powerful because what I do is, say for example, like one of my favorites is at 6:30 p.m. I play Try by Colby Calette, which is a really powerful song for me. And it's about, you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to do all these things everybody expects and shoulds all over you. You get to say, do you even like you, right? And what's interesting is when that song plays, because it says for me, and this is again going back to that self-love space, it'll say, the message across the screen while that song's playing says, I'm a powerful child of God, worthy of abundance, joy, and prosperity. And I'll sit, and one of two things happens when I listen to that song when it comes on. I either sit and connect for a moment and go, yeah, I really showed up today. I feel like I just gave my heart, and I feel good, and I feel clean, and I feel awesome. Or I have one where I will start bawling. And sometimes I'll listen to it a couple times in a row, because as I'm crying, I'm like, man, I've been really hard on myself today. You know what, Candy? You did the best you could do today. And you know what? Let it go. Let It Go. By the way, I love that song from Frozen, Let It Go. That is one of my theme songs. But I want you to think about the power of being able to connect in, to check and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? How am I feeling? And if a certain song is triggering you, it's a really big sign that you're either being really hard on yourself or you're wide open and just receiving immense joy. And so I use that as an example, as a way to connect in. I have ones at different times of the day when I know what my energy's like, that I just want to dial in and go, how am I doing right now? How am I feeling? And so I want you to imagine and start to think about where and how you could put some things, good morning, Myra, how you can put some things in your life to help you quiet down, connect, and help you tap into your inner child, connect. And so this is an opportunity to look at ways to really be still and allow yourself to play, because both of those are deep connection spaces that for most of us is missing. And so let me see, any other comments on here as I start to wrap this up for you? I like the alarm idea. Awesome, great idea. Yes. And so I want you to realize there's tools, there's ways to do this, because otherwise what happens, and we're going to really have some conversations around letting go of your need to be busy for the sake of being busy, and this belief that unless I'm killing it, unless I'm whining and grinding, unless I'm burning and churning, unless I'm kicking ass at all times, I'm not being productive. Your best creativity, your best productivity does not happen when you're doing. I just want to plant that seed, because we are going to get into more of that discussion, and I'm going to explain what I mean around that. By the way, I'm planting a seed, so all you come back so we can have this discussion. But I want you to realize that growth, productivity, success does not happen in the busy. It doesn't happen in the doing. It actually happens in the still. And so unless you are creating space, white space, pink space, whatever you want to call it, to be still and to play and connect into who you are in your inner child, you are capping, you are creating a ceiling for what's possible for you in terms of joy and fulfillment and abundance and success. And so I just want to plant that, as we're going to get into much more of that as we go along. One of my favorite songs is We Are Family by Sister Sledge. I love that song. One of my favorite songs is We Are the World. That's another one that I just love songs. Celebration, right? Kool and the Gang. I've got a pretty awesome playlist, and I used to joke with people that it would go from AC/DC to Led Zeppelin to literally Barry Manilow to Barbara Streisand to Alabama to, Zac Brown Band. I have music across, and people will say, what's your favorite music? I'm like, what's my mood? What's going on? And what time of day is it? Because I have different music that feeds my soul, depending on what I need and what's going on in my day. And so I invite and encourage you to imagine the possibilities that you are worth creating time to connect to yourself. And so whatever that might be, I would love, as the day goes on, as the week goes on, as you go into the weekend, I would love to hear some comments around what you're finding is powerful for you to deeply connect with yourself. And so make sure that you are continuing to plug in on the page. Want to hear what's happening with you, and we're going to celebrate some of those wins, some of those opportunities, and acknowledge what's shifting for you just by giving yourself those little moments to go inside and to open up your heart and your authenticity, so that you don't need so many words, you just need your heart to lead the path. So that being said, looking for identity songs. Anyone? Oh, I've got a whole lot. Oh, Marusha, good morning. So yes, I will actually share. I'll share some of my songs on my playlist. I will put those in the group and on the thread as well. But share your songs, share the things, share those moments, share the stuff that makes you feel really fulfilled, that makes you feel like you're deeply connecting. And so the more we share with each other, the more we have greater possibilities. And so with that, I just want to say a huge thank you for all of you showing up. I love our community's growing every morning, and the discussions are so powerful. And absolutely, oh, this is me from The Greatest Showman. Yes, that is a awesome song. By the way, if you haven't seen that movie, highly recommend it. And the whole soundtrack is amazing. But This Is Me is a powerful self-identity song. So is The Champion by Carrie Underwood. Roxanne, good morning. And so is Try. Like I said, I will put some of my favorite songs in the thread. I hope the rest of you will share some of yours as well. Rise by Katy Perry, as well as Roar. Rise Up by Andrea Day. Yes, I love those. There's another song by my boy Benny Zobrist's wife, Juliana. He's a Cub, by the way. She has a song called Alive. Her name is Juliana Zobrist. Amazing song. I also use a lot of Lauren Daigle's songs to get me moving and inspired in the morning as well. She is amazing. And so even You Say is one of my anthems every morning. I don't have a morning that's not me listening to Lauren Daigle's You Say. So please share those songs. Thank you, Mario. I love that. So with that, just sending y'all heart-to-heart hugs. So excited for you to have a powerful, fantastic, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, this is Wednesday Wonder. This is about playing in the imagine if space and opening up access to all kinds of amazing possibilities. And in order to do that, you do need to find space. Oh, Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. Hell yeah. It's another anthem song. Thank you, Marisha. I love that. I want you to realize that the only way you can truly have your most amazing day is to start by saying yes to yourself and destroy the noise, and find that space, the little space, to deeply connect to who you are and how you choose to show up. So, mwah! Big love to all of you. Can't wait to see you. I will be back tomorrow, 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 for those of you on the East Coast, 6:30 for those of you or 5:30 for those of you on Pacific Time. Guarantee get up that early with me. It'll be worth it. Tomorrow is Thursday Throwdown. So while I keep challenging you, tomorrow is the big challenge space. So we are going to find a way to push you out of your comfort zone so that you can go big to grow bigger. And with that, want to hear from you. Hope you are doing well. And then Friday will be our Friday feature. I'm going to start digging into one of my favorite resources that has been a significant game changer and something we're going to dig into on a massive scale over the next couple of weeks. And it's going to really play into what we've done with the bookend. So love you all. Yes, I will share some links to those songs. I will share my playlist. And with that, if you have any other questions, comments, thoughts, please, I want to hear them. I'm here for you. This is my space to serve you. And I love you all. So heart-to-heart hugs. Make it a phenomenal Wednesday. And I will catch up with y'all tomorrow.